Well, Taurus, I'm back again. Dadhichi is my name, and it's October 2014. We take a look at the month in terms of your horoscope, sun sign horoscope, but for those of you that know your rising sign or your lunar sign, the very brief readings I'm going to give you could apply equally to that. And a real intensification of your horoscope, especially near the 9th sector, which has to do with journeys. Some of you are going to journey or have just journeyed. And if you have, these journeys can be very, very significant in terms of the spiritual awakening that can take place. Now, journeys can be of two sorts. They can be physical, or they can in fact be mental and spiritual. It doesn't really matter. The point here of these transits, Moon, Pluto, Mars, in this vicinity of the horoscope, have a lot to do with the transformations that can take place through the cultural exchanges that you're having, through the people that you meet. So it's going to push you beyond your comfort zone, and that's a good thing. And as I've been saying to some of the other star signs today, not a bad idea to embrace these changes rather than, pushing them away. And it's interesting because often we're interested in the process of learning, but when it comes to applying that to our practical lives, that's a whole other ball game. And that's where we have to bridge the two aspects, the learning aspect and the practical aspect. In the middle is our awareness, getting all caught up in the facts, the figures, the information. Over here is the reality of our day-to-day existence. How do we bring these two facets together? I think that's what's important for you at this particular point in time. And all the more important because we do see the total lunar eclipse taking place on the 8th of the month in your 12th zone. And we've talked about this 12th zone having your past karma point there, the south node. And when the eclipse takes place, it is on what we call the nodal axis. So a lot of karmic stuff is going to be brought up for you, Taurus, in the sign of Aries, which is your 12th house. So you need to be prepared for that. So all this wisdom you've been gaining, this cultural exchange, new people that you're meeting, unless you're able to really use that as fuel to gain the insights that you need to move to the next level of your life. And of course, what's the process all about if it's not for you to become happy? 12th house is the house of discarding. It's the house of attrition. Some astrologers see it as the house of sickness or hospitalization. Some see it as the house of expenses. That's true on a material level. But for this reading today, I'm focusing a little more on the principle of attrition in terms of letting go of those ideas that are holding you back, letting go of those parameters that you've cemented yourself into over the years and decades. And that's not an easy thing to do. As you know, cement, while it's still wet, you can sort of mold it. Once it's hardened, you've got to get the jackhammer in. So it's probably a case of that for a lot of you born under the sign of the bull. On a good note, we see, for example, the intensification on the between the 9th and the 11th, the 6th sector of your horoscope, which has to do with your day-to-day routine, your workplace activities. A real desire to make that meaningful for you. Venus there is, of course, your ruling planet. So we see a lot of focus in your work. And 6th house also, which isn't often mentioned, has a lot to do with service. So I'm going to tie in the first predictions I made with this aspect after the 9th, which has to do with the concept of serving others, not necessarily for monetary gain, but with a view to accelerating that attrition. You're wondering how that all works. Well, when you're serving others and you're doing it from a deeply compassionate space, there's a real sort of natural attrition that takes place. The best form of attrition is to forget oneself. That compassionate state or that selfless state really causes one to completely discard oneself. I'm not saying that you stupidly let people take advantage of you. This could be like random acts of kindness, you know, selectively chosen by you to help you accelerate that state of attrition where you gain a practical spiritual insight. I'm all about that. And to me, the horoscope is very much about using these transits, understanding these transits to gain a deeper insight into how you can become happier in your day-to-day life. Between the 12th and the 21st, there's some very important transits. We see the excellent aspect of the Sun to Jupiter, but we do see your ruling planet in the opposition to Uranus. What this tells me, there are opportunities for you. They occur in this zone of work through this act of loving, selfless service, and those opportunities arise rather suddenly. So you've got an opportunity there to expand yourself. The Sun and Jupiter transits are very nice for creating business opportunities, sense of well-being. So if you do embrace this whole process of attrition, what I'm seeing here is overall a better sense of self, a better feeling of happiness, and a sense of expansion as well. Now the 23rd, 24th and 26th, the month is taken out with the Sun moving into the 7th house. That's much nicer for your personal relationships. I know it happens a bit later in the month. We also see that there's a solar eclipse. It's a partial solar eclipse on the 24th. That, of course, is going to take place in that 7th house of relationships. That's important because basically this will open up the doorway to more meaningful relationship. I'm hoping that some of the prior activities that I've talked about today are going to give you the opportunity to really connect with that meaningful person in your life, that person you consider important. And that's what these eclipses can do. They can really drive you into those deeper recesses of your spirit and open up relationships in an important way. Incidentally, you've had you will have had the retrogression of Mercury in that place too. So you're going to be going back through a lot of memories with your partner. This could be either alone or it could be in concert with that person. But any agreements that you have to come to may not take place until the very end of the month, around the 26th, when Mercury then goes direct. So don't push things through too fast. Just let life flow. Just be observant. Just let things fall away. Don't hold on to the past and these circumstances that you're in. And the end of the month should see with it some blossoming of your understanding of relationships and yourself. See you here next month. Astrology.com.au is my website. A lot more information on this month and the year to come. Look forward to your company there as well. Have a good month. Bye-bye.